Cece, one word to describe today.
Only one word. Unreal. That's fire, honestly.
The moment Caitlin Clark returned to the Carver Hawkeye Arena floor, something electric sparked. The crowd exploded at 116 decibels during the player introductions, louder than many NFL or NBA games, and she hadn't even touched the ball yet. When Clark fired off a 36-foot three-pointer from the same spot where she passed Kelsey Plum's NCAA scoring record, the entire arena trembled. The 7-month break from basketball changed nothing. Caitlin Clark's return wasn't just a game, it was a message about what's ahead in 2025. In this video, we'll relive the unforgettable highlights from that historic night. If you're excited for the new season, drop a "fired up for the fever" in the comments. Let's dive in.
What does it mean to you to be going back to play at Iowa, but this time with your jersey in the rafters?
Yeah, I'm super excited to go back and play at Iowa. Obviously a place that has meant a lot to me, and we've had so many amazing games inside that arena, so it'll be fun to be back in front of those fans and honestly to get to introduce those fans to all my new teammates. And the Indiana Fever, I think, will be really special because they love supporting all of us. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I know it's gonna be a special day.
What happens when a local legend comes back after taking over the basketball world? Iowa City answered that with a roar. Fans had started lining up outside Carver Hawkeye Arena hours before tip-off, not just for the game, but to watch the warm-ups, just to share the air with Caitlin Clark. The line wrapped completely around the arena, people waiting in the May weather just for the doors to open, all for a preseason game that wouldn't even count.
What are you the most excited to show your teammates around campus?
Honestly, I'm most excited to show them how cool Iowa City is. Like, people don't realize how good of a college town that place is. My teammates just expect it to be cornfield, but I'm like, no, it's one of the greatest colleges. So, yeah, downtown Iowa City is where it's at. So we'll give them a little tour, and I'm sure they're gonna wanna come back.
7 months is a long time in this sport, and every second without Clark on the court was felt. What would she do first? A Logo 3, maybe? The moment she stepped out, the crowd erupted. This wasn't just noise. It peaked at 116 dB during introductions. Louder than playoff games, louder than most NFL crowds, all of it for a preseason appearance.
Yeah, getting to go back to Iowa, it's so exciting. I obviously haven't really been there much since I left about a year ago. And I think just getting to see people that have supported me throughout my career and continue to support me is going to be incredible. But also, like, they're the biggest Indiana Fever fans too now. Like, they want to meet all my teammates. They want to cheer for my teammates. And I was telling some of the girls this the other day, I'm like, they're going to go crazy for you.
To Clark, Carver Hawkeye wasn't just any gym, it's where she became a superstar. Shattered records once thought impossible and helped turn women's college hoops into prime-time viewing. Iowa has since earned its title as the heart of women's basketball, thanks to her. Those walls watched her journey from freshman to icon. Fans were paying an average of $670 per seat, not for a playoff, not even regular season, but for a piece of history. Some crossed state borders, others used vacation days just to witness their hero come home.
Luck finding affordable tickets for the Indiana Fever preseason game against Brazil at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Seats at the arena for the May 4th matchup between the Indiana Fever and Brazil were first offered to season ticket holders and a few top donors. Didn't take long for them to be gone.
Even her teammates felt the weight of the night. Lexi Hull wore a number 22 Iowa jersey during warm-ups, a touching nod to the fact that for Caitlin Clark, this game was far more than just another outing, it was personal.
Going to have signs about you. They want your autograph. They want a high five from you. And I think that's what I appreciate about them the most is like they want to cheer not only for myself, but everybody else on this team. And they have so much fun watching us. So now getting to take the Indiana Fever to them and their environment. I was telling Lexi and some of the other girls this other day is like, this will be the loudest arena you have ever played in. They're going to scream. They're going to cheer. When I tell them to get up, they're going to get up. So it'll be fun to get to go back there since my last time playing there in the NCAA tournament my senior year, so it should be really...
Clark felt the emotion too. You could see it in her eyes while she warmed up, looking around the familiar arena, now packed with 15,000 people. This was the place that made her a legend, and she had returned as a professional who had already reshaped the sport. But this night wasn't just about looking back, it was proof that her bond with Iowa was unbroken and her talent had only sharpened. When the ball was tossed for the opening tip, the arena leaned in, Clark locked in, focused as ever, and what followed was a night nobody in that crowd could have predicted, starting with a shot that would blow the roof off.
Clark, pull up three, you bet!
Some plays in sports are more than just scores, they tell a story. Right out of the gate, Clark drained her first shot, a three, of course. But that was just the beginning. Late in the third quarter, she pulled up from 36 feet with 25 seconds on the clock, took 3 quick dribbles, and let it fly. That shot wasn't just 3 points. It was her declaration. Caitlin Clark was back.
Better looking possessions of the day for Brazil. Here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo! And a little point after.
Early on, you could tell Clark was finding her groove again. The same poise, the same vision that made her a college legend were all still there. Her moves were instantly recognizable, her passes precise, her instincts razor sharp, and that trademark grin never left. Brazil's national team was already having trouble keeping up with the Fever's flow when Clark brought the ball past, half court. That unmistakable look in her eyes, the one where she sees things others miss. The defense sagged back, but not enough. They never do. What made the moment even more iconic was that Clark didn't just pull up from any spot, it was the exact place where she had passed Kelsey Plum's scoring record in her senior year. History was repeating itself perfectly, now with a new team and under her retired jersey. Without a second thought, Clark let it fly from deep beyond the arc. The ball sailed high in that familiar arc Hawkeye fans had seen so often, and it dropped. Clean through the hoop, no rim, just net, making the moment feel even more magical.
I said 30 seconds. I'm like, I can make it 2 for 1 word. You knew that was coming. Yeah. Did it get loud in here? Did you get scored? Yeah. No. No one really cares. You gotta be better.
Her teammates' reaction said it all. When Clark later asked if the crowd got loud after her shot, Sophie Cunningham joked, "When you scored? No." Lexi Hull chimed in, laughing. Nobody really noticed. That playful banter reflected something more true chemistry building within the Fever. The crowd's response reached 117 decibels, creating a physical wave players felt in their chests. It wasn't just sound, it was raw joy from nearly 15,000 fans who had waited for that exact moment. Coach Stephanie White summed it up best. The shot wasn't just good for momentum, it was exactly what people came to see. That's who she is. That's what she does, White said, capturing Clark perfectly.
Yeah, I thought it was electric. It's what you've seen, whether it's from the outside on television or being here broadcasting, but to actually feel the energy. I mean, it is a thing when you talk about having a six man, so to speak. Crowd energy, it gives you a lift, it gives you a boost. It's why we all do what we do, like to feed into these kinds of environments. And so it was a lot of fun.
That one shot summed up everything Clark represents: boldness, deep range, flair for the moment, and her unbreakable tie to Iowa. The logo 3 wasn't just highlight material. It was Clark sending a message that her magic didn't stay behind in college. As the net snapped clean, it was clear her WNBA chapter would carry the same electricity. It wasn't just a return, it was a launching point for a team performance that showed the hometown star had only gotten better.
I think it's hard to put into words like what exactly it means to me. It's almost overwhelming to a point. Like, I'm just very, very thankful to be able to come back to a place that continues to support me and see old friends that are having a great time getting to watch me do my thing, that don't play basketball anymore, that are just my friends, and spending time with them. Like, even though it was just dinner last night, like, it's just fun to come back here and like kind of feel like you're in college again in a way, but also it was a little weird like going in the locker room.
The scoreboard showed 108-44, but the real story couldn't be measured in numbers. Caitlin Clark's return wasn't just a game, it was the prologue to what could be an unforgettable second season. Sure, the 36-foot bomb got the biggest reaction, but those 19 minutes on the floor revealed something bigger. This wasn't the same player from 7 months ago. This was Caitlin Clark, completely unlocked.
I don't know, something about this gym like just makes me play well, and these shoes, like, it just, I don't know. So there's something about it, but I just, a lot of gratitude and just thankful I can share it with my family too. A lot of them were here, my grandparents were here, and they don't get to come to many either. And these are the moments that like you never take for granted, and you kind of just want to stay in for forever.
While fans kept their eyes on the scoreboard, something deeper was unfolding on the court. Clark had been away from the WNBA for 7 months to train, reflect, and grow. The question wasn't if she'd improve, but by how much. That answer showed immediately. She looked stronger physically, taking hits in the paint that would have knocked her down last year. Now she finished those plays and jogged back on defense, while defenders who once had her figured out were left a step behind.
We want to compete, we want to be our best, we want to compete at a high level. We've got edgy players, we've got competitive players, and I guarantee you it doesn't matter if we're playing cards or if we're playing basketball. They want to win, and they want to do what it takes to win and position themselves to win. So I love that about this group. It means that we don't waste time in practice. They don't waste reps. They don't waste moments we have to get better, and it really is a joy to coach.
Her vision on the floor had evolved too. One pass stood out a pinpoint thread between two defenders that hit Aaliyah Boston perfectly for an easy finish. Another time, she saw Kelsey Mitchell in the corner before Mitchell even realized she was open. The ball hit her hands and the shooting pocket him 3 more points. What stood out wasn't just Clark's talent, but the energy behind it. She celebrated every good play, cheered for her teammates, and pumped her fist when Boston pulled down. A tough board. This wasn't someone just playing basketball. This was someone who truly missed it.
Clark, pull up 3. You bet. Extra feed, Hall. Another. Lencio. Olsen. Some trickery behind the back. Ball elevates and drops it in. Here's Clark. Wow. You bet. From beyond the logo, and a little point afterwards.
The post-game emotions were just as moving as the action itself. Clark hugged her former Iowa coaches, tears forming as she stepped off the court. Every fan stood to their feet, a wall of applause and appreciation that even moved those not easily stirred. Her post-game interview, where she thanked Iowa fans for always having my back, felt like the perfect closing note. As the final seconds of that 64-point win ticked away, something greater became clear. This wasn't just preseason or nostalgia. This was Indiana Fever planting a flag for 2025. A team full of joy, movement, and real chemistry was forming, and at its center stood Caitlin Clark, back home and ready to begin the next chapter.
Honestly, like, I was really excited to just get out there and play, and especially getting to do it for the first time this season in front of these fans was really cool for myself. And like, just seeing the amount of people and young girls and young boys that stand there and like scream for me to sign their stuff, like, I don't take that for granted. Like, that's so cool. Like, I would be lying to you if I thought that was like just like normal and everybody gets to do that. Like,
beneath all the buzz about Caitlin, Clark's return was a more important sign for Fever fans, evidence that this team is becoming something real. It wasn't just about Clark. The Fever played like a different squad altogether. Their performance against Brazil showed all the pieces that were missing last year. The ball zipped around, shooters stayed open, and the defense forced 26 turnovers. The players hyped each other up. This wasn't Clark and company, it was a true team. After a rookie year of growing pains, the big question was whether this group of talent could come together. For one night at least, the answer couldn't have been clearer. Absolutely.
How important was it for you to showcase this to your Indiana Fever teammates? That this is special.
Well, I'm just thankful I could bring them all here. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for them. So, I mean, this is what women's basketball is all about, and all these people, 15,000 people and more, love them too. So that's what it's about.
Kelsey Mitchell showed exactly why she's the ideal scoring complement to Clark, putting up 17 points that included 4 three-pointers, several of them. Off Clark's sharp, accurate feeds, Mitchell's 3 steals also underscored her rising defensive tenacity. When asked about the team's offensive progress compared to their last preseason game, Clark didn't hold back. It wasn't choppy. Like our Washington game, that one was tough to sit through.
Use it. Another chance here for Indiana. Here's Mitchell, wiggling and cupping it in.
Aaliyah Boston's showing might have been the most promising takeaway of the night. She tallied 11 points, grabbed 7 boards, and dished out 5 assists, displaying a growing synergy with Clark that could anchor this offense. Going forward, Boston's poise and smart decision-making stood out, consistently generating chances for both herself and her teammates.
You have the 3 teenagers on the roster as well.
Here's Mitchell popping and hitting from 3.
Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham showed exactly why they fit so well in this system. Hull nailed 3 triples, while Cunningham's savvy and hustle helped open the floor with smart spacing. Their unselfish play and ability to keep the ball moving kept the offense flowing. Dana Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sydney Colson, and Michaela Timpson added intensity, hustle, and grit. Check out that slick setup from Colson to Howard.
Indiana. Here's Howard running with Colson. Oh, Colson! Some trickery behind the back. Caitlin Clark, a big smile.
Coach Stephanie White's defensive game plan looked like a complete overhaul. The Fever held Brazil to under 10 points in 2 separate quarters, a feat that seemed unthinkable last year. Our defense was really good, White said, though she acknowledged there's still room to clean up communication and reduce errors. The offense ran smoothly. Nothing like last season's struggles. Players made confident cuts, found shooters, and trusted each other. Clark led the team without having to take over, displaying faith in her squad. One of the biggest takeaways? Clark's added strength. She stood her ground through contact that would have knocked her down a year ago. Consistency in training helps you feel better through the season, especially when things get physical in the playoffs, Clark explained. As the final buzzer sounded on the dominant 64-point win, it was clear this wasn't just a homecoming. It was a preview of a fully rebuilt team ready to rise in 2025. The Indiana Fever are no longer just Clark's squad. They're a unit to be reckoned with.
I'm glad I can be a role model for them, and they have a great impact on me too, and that's why you do it. Even at the end of the day, say I scored 0 points, I'm sure they still would have been there screaming my name and wanting an autograph, and I think that just really kind of puts into perspective the impact, and there's a lot more bigger things in life than basketball.
What happened inside Carver Hawkeye Arena wasn't simply a basketball game, it was a look into what's next for women's hoops. Clark's return to Iowa revealed something deeper, a bond with fans that goes far beyond stats and jerseys. When she waved goodbye with that final cheer, it wasn't a farewell, it was more like, see you again, to a journey still unfolding. The Fever aren't just assembling a roster, they're creating something that could transform the sport. With experienced players, fresh talent, and a driven coaching staff, 2025 won't just be another year, it might be remembered as the start of a revolution. If you're hyped for the season, drop a "fired up for the Fever" in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Click the video on your screen. We'll see you next time.